What a Gemba Walk Looks Like by Brannon.
So when it comes to going on the Gemba, I've been trying to capture what a good Gemba walk looks like and where I screwed up, because I was terrible at the beginning, horrible. So I'll give you what I did wrong at the beginning. I used to sit and we used to observe the work, but the first mistake I made was I would tell the superintendent. I'd go out there with the superintendent in the car, the general superintendent. We just observe the work from a good vantage point. It was fine to discuss the waste, but I gave solutions. The solutions screwed everything up, defensiveness, the whole bit. So last week I went on to a job. It was just a pretty simple job where they were ripping out an old parking lot, digging it down, putting a new road base and new asphalt on top and repaving it. And they were in the middle of doing the road base. We did the same thing where we looked at the waste and we made observations. But then I was very quick to point out to these guys, because I'm trying to develop this new area manager and their general superintendent on how to do kind of like a Gemba walk. What do we do now? And I said, what do we do here? Do we tell them all the things they're doing wrong? Do you think those guys are going to trust me or do anything that I say when they don't even know who I am if I come out and tell them everything to do, what they're doing is wrong? And they said, no, they'll actually hit your guts. And I said, okay. So what's the purpose of our meeting here? Is it to fix everything? Or is the purpose of our meeting to develop the employee so they fix everything? I talked to Dustin. I said, Dustin, can you be here all day? He's like, no. I talked to the area manager, Kelly. Kelly, can you be out here all day? He's like, no. I said, so you can't possibly come out here and fix everything for them. They have to fix it themselves. So I don't want to offer them any solutions, but I want to ask them what they could do to make the job easier for them or for the equipment they're using, for either man or equipment, to make it less effort, less work, and let's see what they come up with. Here's the funny thing. Kelly had an idea. He had a solution. He mentioned a solution in the car, the area manager. I said, let's not give it to him. Let's just get them to think. Let's get them to see. And so we brought the whole crew over. And Kelly, to his credit, he grabbed the general superintendent. He said, you're up, my man, and let him practice what I had just coached everyone to do for a Gemba walk, right? And Dustin, very kind of being put on the spot. What went well yesterday? What do you think you could do to make the job easier? And it was really hard to pull it out of those guys at the beginning. But we just kept poking and prodding and asking that you're trying to make the job easier. You're trying to make the equipment have to move less. We want the job to be easier and simpler. What can you do? And funny enough, after we kept prodding and poking and prodding, and we refused to give him an answer, finally a guy pipes up and goes, you know what? I think if we took the trucks, had them put a chain on the back, and then they drove forward while they dumped, it would spread the material for them. This was the exact, and I mean to the letter, exact solution that Kelly had just mentioned. And he looks over at me as he's describing it with huge eyes and this little smile on his face, like, oh my gosh, he solved it himself. And it was such a perfect thing. But to me, that's a proper Gemba walk, is do not hand out, sometimes you have to hand out a solution to prime the pump, but avoid it and get them to think so they're solving the problems after you're gone.
Thanks, Brannon, for fantastic insights into what a Gemba walk should look like and the actual application of it. Thanks for sharing. Awesome.